Facebook, Constant Contact, Twitter, Instagram. What programs are you using? Let's see, for example, Microsoft. I use one of their programs. So they email me. What programs or companies are emailing you junk mail, but you're not really ready to delete it? You send all those emails into your subscription/programs folder. Okay? And then personals. Some people, they like to have a personal email account and then their business email account. Okay, now you have to check both. So you just create more work for yourself. Create a personal folder. Anything that's not business related goes into that folder. Check it later. Okay? Associations. What clubs do you belong to? Is it Chamber of Commerce? Is it your sorority? Is it your college cultural group? Put those emails there. And so, and I see a few furrowed brows. Any questions about this at all? So, I'm going to be here, until the sun probably goes down. So you can always come see me in the back, okay? Ready for the next slide. So, see me after if you have questions about how to do that, okay? Quality surveys and testimonials. Some of you might be just starting out. Some of you might be experienced, but then nothing shows your credibility. Nothing shows that people really like what you do, that you're good at it. Your virtual assistant or personal assistant or your admin person, they can call, you give them a list. They will call these people for you. You give them a script. They say, hi, you've met Shirlene Jones. Your Shirlene Jones is such and such. Can I ask you a few questions about your experience with her company? They will tell your assistant the truth. Okay? I had one client, actually, Gloria's husband. He had over 100 names. I think it was like 150 names. We were able to get over 30 replies, and I transcribed the messages for him. And now all those testimonials are going to go on his website. You think he wants to sit on the phone and call 150 people and say, "Hey, tell me how good I am."
He hasn't done it in 4 years.
So this just gives you an example of how, for those business owners out there, you're wasting your time if you're doing this on your own. You're wasting your time if you're doing this on your own, okay? And again, I mean, you can be creative. You can have, well, I don't know if you want your kids to do that, but I'm just trying to think off the box there. But you never know people's situations. Okay, next slide. Calendar appointments and reminders. Okay. Some of you are very busy, and people are always pulling at you, asking you to come to their events, their birthday, funeral. I mean, it's just everything. It's just so much going on. Some of you are overcommitted to programs and educational training. Stop it.
Okay.
You have to stop doing that. Your virtual assistant should be running your calendar, your appointments, and your reminders. You need to know what's important for you to attend. Cap the number of events that you go to a year. I'm only going to 10 events this year. You want me to come to something? You gotta ask my assistant. I don't even know what's on with him. It's not that you're trying to push people away from you, but I remember talking to a client. She said, "Oh my God. I'm going to everyone's stuff and I'm not making money because I'm going to everyone's stuff." And I said to her, I said, we need to set something up to where, you might think that you wanted to go to that event, but then, hey, you can say, "Sorry, I can't make it, Sydney, invite me to the next one." You need to go to events where you're making money, or you're going to meet people who can help you make money. So, and this is takes a longer commitment with a personal assistant or a VA, but the results are worth it. Okay, so I want you guys to think about what's important for you to attend. Is it educational, professional development events? Is it networking events? Is it membership or any membership commitments that you might have? Some of you might say, "Well, I have to go to these type of things." So you can categorize it, and then you'll say, "Well, if you were to, let's just use me as an example of Rita, there's definitely 10 events that I want, 10 educational events that I want to go to. Then there's these other groups that I want to go to." So then your VA or your personal assistant helps you figure out, well, which one do you think is best for you. So that's a little tidbit there. Okay. Ready for the next slide. And is anyone, any questions? Any questions, any concerns, anything? Anything from anyone? Yes.
I think it's really great tips you're sharing about the value, because sometimes as business owners, we think we can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
We think that we don't need to have somebody to manage our emails for us, to help us to pare down our calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes we overcommit to things
Mm-hmm.
that don't generate revenue for us,
Mm-hmm.
or not necessarily generating revenue, but just really help you to connect with the resources. I mean, it's really great stuff.
Yeah, and I think each business owner has their own way of saying, no, I don't want to do that. Your virtual assistant is guiding you to the results you want. Yes, Anna.
I have a feeling you must help people make a lot more money. Can you quantify that? Like, because their time has been liberated to do what they're supposed to do?
I can say yes. They haven't said it, but when someone is paying me for 10 hours a month, 20 hours a month, 40 hours a month, that's extra time they did not have. And the fact that they keep paying is letting me know that it's worth it.
Yeah, so
Because no one's going to waste their money. No one, well, that's my viewpoint there. Especially for the type of service that I offer, it's like either it works or it doesn't. The client knows instantly if it's a good fit. Yes.
Well, I think that also what's so important, and again, I think women in particular are probably guilty of this, and that is, I need to do it myself.
Mhm.
We sometimes think that it's actually more cost effective for us to do it ourselves, and the irony is, it isn't. Because your virtual assistant can't do your strategy for you, can't do your marketing copy and really thinking about what should be your next program. And when you're so busy doing your email and you're doing your scheduling and you're doing all of these other things, you're very busy. At the end of the day, you're very busy, but you're not doing the things that actually are going to put your business forward, because it's you doing it. Those things need to get done, and that would be so much better for you. So
Yes. And before I get into this next slide, there's a little tidbit that I have for people who work for other people. I remember when I was, the last corporate job I had, I was working for the vice president for this commercial real estate firm, and I had to take care of 5 people's expense reports. Okay? And so one of my coworkers, she wasn't all that busy. I said, hey, can I get your help? If you notice your coworker literally is, you know when someone's fooling around, they're not really busy. If you have that camaraderie with them, that relationship, say, hey, I am swamped. Can you help me at least just, find a way to say, hey, can you help me finish this? If I don't, I'm going to get in. And so I was able to ask her, I was like, her name was Natasha. I was like, Natasha, I have all these expense reports. These are done. Can you just cross-check to make sure that I did it right? Because then that gives her this level of, she knows she's capable. She knows she can count. It kind of gives her this, I'm looking for you to support. It made her feel good. She was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. What else do you need to do? So find ways at work to build those kind of relationships. And then you can start delegating stuff, and no one needs to know. They're like, oh my God, how did you do that so fast? Okay. Blogging. Your virtual assistant can develop your ideas. You don't have to write it. It's been times when I've been in the room with a client or we're over the phone, and I am literally typing everything that they say, and then I email it to them. I was like, well, this is what you said. Oh, I said that? Yeah. So your virtual assistant can help you develop your ideas. And for those of you who just blog on a regular, you don't have to sit there and write it out. If someone is over the phone, literally typing word for word what you said, that, and it's in the, what I type like 70 words a minute, you know how much time you can save. You don't even have to write it, and you can just go back over and proofread it. That's saving you time. That's keeping you organized. Okay? And so I had this little thing like, get started now, these are like some blog topics that you can start with. Questions people should ask me. Let's see. So say, Jerry, you have, tell everybody what's your business.
Freelance fashion designer, design fashion accessories.
Okay, so a really good blog topic for her would be questions people should ask me about fashion. And then she'll have those 10 questions. You should, if you're not sure about your outfit or the color scheme, these are the 10 questions you should ask me. Another blog topic, questions people are asking me. So some people might have the same questions like on your social media platforms, and they wish you would talk about them more. So like some people are like, well, Rita, what programs do you, not programs, what packages do you have? Well, here are some packages that would help you save time, stay organized. And then you can always write like a 10 tips article. So like say if you like to cook, you can give like, these are my top 10 recipes that I love to cook. Click on this link to go to my website to find out how to make it at home. So I mean right there you have some blogging things to get started with. I'm just curious now, who blogs? Okay, just a few people in the room. But blogging is a benefit to you because you come across as an expert online, and then people, they're getting information to help guide them to make a buying decision with you. If they keep reading that you're an expert on the best mac and cheese, and you can put this in, you can put that in, they'll say, well, what if I did a mac and cheese with this ingredient? And you'll say, yes, da-da-da-da. Use this same recipe, go to my website, and then they might say, well, look, I'm going to take one of your cooking classes because I just, I can't get enough. So that's the whole point of blogging. So you can draw people to you. Okay? Next slide. Okay, your virtual assistant can research your industry. One of my clients, he had two situations going on. A family member ruined his name on the internet, and he said, Rita, here's a list of names. We did the quality surveys for him and testimonials. Call these people and find out, what they think about my business. And so then he said, another thing I want you to do is research my industry, which is merchant services. I want you to find the most hot technology out there, so when I'm having a conversation with someone at a networking event, I can impress them with what I know. He's not on the internet trying to figure this out. He hired me to do it for him. So you can have your virtual assistant, or even if that colleague at work is, they're bored or they don't have enough time, like, hey, help me figure this thing out. Can you help me research this and this topic? I have to get prepared for this report. Find the answers for me. Okay. I think we are on. Okay, next slide. And so there's so many ways that you can use a virtual assistant. Database management, which is like organizing all your contacts, event planning, your newsletter, marketing support. You see the list, it goes on and on. Okay, next slide. So get going, delegate now. Delegate your messages, email cleanup, calendars, your research, social media, blog posts, quality surveys. And this is the end of my slideshow. I wanted to share a very powerful story with you really quick, so I'm going to come right here, and it speaks full circle to what Jan spoke about earlier. I had the pleasure of going to Alabama I went to Atlanta originally for my best friend's wedding. And it should come up in a second. I went to Atlanta for my best friend's wedding, and my dad, he told me, he said, well, Alabama's about an hour and a half away. I want you to go see your grandpa. I said, oh, okay. My grandpa is 85 years old. At 66, he started drawing and creating art. And from that time to now, he's been in books in Japan. He's renowned in his community. And I'll read what I wrote on my social media. I put,
The pictures came up and they didn't transfer over to them.
oh, okay. For the sake of time, you guys can come check out the picture later because I don't want to take up any more time. But my grandpa decided he wanted to stir up his creative side and started painting at the age of 66. Little did he know he'd get recognized in books and magazines from Japan all the way to his native in Alabama. Now at 85, he's as sharp as a tack, renowned in his community, and walks 2 long, hot miles a day because he wants to, okay, in the sticky and familiar woods of Alabama. It was an honor to see my grandpa for the 3rd time in my life. The last time I saw my grandpa, I was 9 years old. We talked on his views about racism, how to make your own money, and of course he asked me my opinion about boys who sag their pants. But all of that to just bring this whole workshop full circle. 1, stop the limiting beliefs. If my grandpa, who was 66, who grew up in the racist South, let's call it what it is now, we live in California, we have more access and, he walks, he doesn't even drive. And he had the mindset to say, stop drawing. Keep drawing. Anyway, I'll keep him up on my computer so you can take a look, but me and my auntie went to go visit him, and I was like, look at this old man, he's not old. So, but that's all I have, and thank you. You can see me in the book.
Your biointelligence is the part of your body that knows what to do. It doesn't have to think. And it says, okay, I got to regulate the liver, I've got to pump the heart, I've got the brain to function, and it sends signals throughout your body. You don't have to think about it. We all have it, and it develops from 0 to 2 years old. And that's where when we get into fight or flight, we go into that intelligence. We're no longer in the mind consciousness. And what happens is when we're stressed, we start acting out of those intelligences, which limit our options. Does that make sense? Because its whole job, the body's intelligence is, I've got to survive here, and I'm going to survive. Like have you ever seen a plant that comes through the crack? This body wants to win. It wants to live. It will do so much to live, and what it does is it starts conserving energy. And so we won't do things, if we think it's scary and we're not aware of it, the body shuts the energy down and says, you're going to have to get something so much more and get uncomfortable, so you'll do it. That's when Gloria was talking about get uncomfortable. It's a physiological thing you have to do, is to get uncomfortable.
Is that the same as the reptilian?
Yes, it's your limbic, it's the limbic, but it's called bioenergetic, and it regulates. There's a man by the name of Donald Epstein that I've been studying with for 3 years. Genius, and he's figured this out. So what we want to be able to do is get uncomfortable, see that it's just a story, and we're not going to die. Like really, we might be uncomfortable. My mother used to say, you can't always wear a comfortable bra, get over it. And it's like, that's the truth, get uncomfortable. I mean, who designed those things anyway? A man, probably. So, yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, the universal, so this is actually fascinating to me. I don't pretend that I have this down, but my intention is to learn this, is that our bodies are communicating with a universal intelligence. Like if you have ever given birth to a child, we didn't have to think about it. And it knew what to do. It knew how to grow the limbs, it knew how to grow the arms. And if you look out in nature, there's all this intelligence. How does a purple tulip know that it's a purple tulip? And what happens is, in the universe, supposedly, and I don't know this and I don't have the brain research, but there's an intelligence in the universe that's orchestrating everything. People call it God, they call it spirit. And what happens is, when we get out of our mind, which we believe to be real, and we connect into universal intelligence, what happens is we connect into something larger than us. And that's when we all of a sudden say, I know exactly what to say to this person. Like I met somebody And I felt her energy, and I said, oh, you were a dancer. And it turns out that she was a dancer throughout her whole life. Like, in the field is this universal intelligence that shapes things, and we know it. So when we get out of our mind and we go into this larger thing, there's information that we can grab onto that will direct us, that'll say, don't go to this, say this, you'll show up at the right place. And it turns out. That's what I know so far. So thank you.
Amber, you have an event coming up in October. I'd like to know a little bit more about that. I bet you want to know a little bit more about what your event is.
Excellent question. Thank you for that. Money is very good. And that actually kind of ties into something I forgot to say earlier, too. So as I said, I am a social media consultant, and I do two things. I teach people how to manage their own social media and how to set it up and what to do, and I also do social media management. So my workshop on Saturday, October 4th in Alameda will help you to figure out what your social media strategy is and to really dive into it and figure out if this is something that you want to do yourself or if you want to delegate it to someone else. So that it's a 2-hour workshop, and it's designed, it's not super intro, so if you have no idea what Facebook is, you might want to call me before that and get a little onboarding before. But it'll be good, and if you're interested, I have flyers, and I can hand those to you in a little bit, so just let me know. But I also forgot, is anyone here on Facebook or Twitter? So I picked 2 hashtags for today, because it's important for us to promote education that we're receiving and also to promote each other. So by hashtagging this event, we do 2 things, right? We show our audience that we are educating ourselves, we're involved, and we also help promote the great things that Gloria is doing. So the hashtags, is everyone ready? Mm-hmm. The first one is reignite your passion. So all one word, so it's hashtag reignite your passion. Second one, hashtag empowerment zone. Right? So whatever great things you have to say about this event, Gloria, any of us speakers, my event, you hashtag those. And if you have questions on that, I can help you with that too. The second one is empowerment zone. Welcome to the empowerment zone. Is this on? I can't hear it. Okay, so yes. Pound sign. So you put a pound sign in front of that word, and it makes it searchable, right? So once someone clicks on that, if all of us post at least one post, right, and someone that's interested in reigniting their passion, they didn't come today, they click on that, it takes them to a news feed that shows all of our posts, so they can see how amazing and how impactful this event was.
Yeah, you need to pre.
Yeah, I'll see you on October.
Yeah, you need to pre. Yeah. That's okay, a lot of. Anyone else?
Next question.
Amy, you looking like you got a question. No, yeah, you. You looking like.
Well, I don't have a specific question, but one of the reasons why I came today is I'm a graphic designer. I work full-time at SF Jazz, which is really inspiring. I'm very passionate about music, and all my graphic design that I do on my own time is geared towards arts and music and health and wellness. It's like what I am passionate about. Passionate about health. I teach spinning classes. I exercise every day. I make my own food. And one of the things that I know is going to be my next thing is making patterns, because it's something that brings me a lot of joy. It comes naturally. It just, everybody that sees it loves it, and I just need to figure out how to market it. Like, I don't know what these patterns are going to be. Are they going to be fabric, shower curtains?
She just gave that to me.
You know, I have a lot of ideas. I just don't know how I'm going to.
Right. So is this on? Okay, thank you. So one of the things that you're saying is the larger question is, how do I brand myself? into the next opportunity for me and my business. The core denominator is designing and creating. So actually the core denominator is creating. And so you are still taking those skills and creating the next element of design, and it just happens to be pattern design. So you've been doing graphic design, for artwork. Now you're going to be doing graphic design for patterns. And so you're still in the same lane, but really go from the position of designing, and you don't have to worry about trying to come up with new names, new labels, and what have you, because they're all married together. Does that make sense? So then you can have a catalog, of different type of graphic products that you create, so that you still are in that zone of design. And so if anyone asks you, tell me what you do, I turn people's dreams, visions into, visual designs. And so you're still in that same vein. Oh, so what do you do? Well, that depends. If you're a musician in entertainment, I design this for you. If you want to be able to wear something that's more unique to your individual brand, then I design patterns, for you. And then it can go in a number of ways. So do you see how that works? So you don't have to be anybody else and have to think of anything to convince people that you're talented in this area too. You just say that I am a designer, and this is the way that I deliver my design.
It's just like a new chapter in the book.
Yes. Yeah, and you're continuing to add the chapters. And so I think sometimes when people go through branding themselves, they feel like, especially if it's something that you're talented, it's your skills and your talents married together, right? So I'll tell you a quick quote. So you want to marry your being with your doing.
Oh, God, that's a great quote.
So you want to marry your being with your doing. So, yeah.
I got it.
And so what that really means is the doing is the action part of it. The being is the creator that you are. So you want to marry them together so that you're always living in that space. When they're not married together, one's searching for the other. So either you're going to be or you're going to do. But if you marry them together, your being is always with your doing. Okay? All right. You're welcome.
Can I also ask you, do you blog?
I pretty much do everything but blog. I do a lot of Instagramming, I tweet, I even acted Facebook for my personal self and for my graphic design business. And
I would play with your blogging in terms of creativity, because you bring your creativity to whatever it is that you're doing. So obviously you're passionate about your health, but you bring a creativity to that, that you make your own food and you do all of that, and then all your different designs. So if you started to blog on that, then people that are looking at creativity, they're looking at people that are thinking out of the box, you start to be one of those thought leaders. And it's as simple as, again, as you talking about your process. Or, today I did X and this is what came through and I didn't know I was going to start here, but look what happened. And you just start. And then you can add in articles from other people that you really admire, that inspire you, so that you build off of their audiences, people that are looking for those articles. They'll see your blog in that whole listing and then start to read things that you're writing. And so it also is, when you blog and when you write like that, it gives you the opportunity to reflect on yourself. And when we are multi-talented like that, it gives us a chance to also discern what's really driving me. What is it that I really want to write a second article about? So I just recommend that you do that. And then Pinterest seems to be a natural for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that would just be an absolute natural, and that you just play with that big time, if that's your field.
And I want to add something to the blogging, because sometimes people see blogging as something that can be cumbersome, but there are so many ways to do blogging. I love vlogs, video blogs. So you can actually, yay! So I love video blogs because you actually can take your cell phone, if you got an iPhone or Android phone, and you can literally just sit there and video blog for 2 seconds and say, hey, everybody, I'm about to create an amazing pattern, and I'm going to do it in 3 steps. First, I'm going to grab this, grab that. And then you can just do a quick demo of that and say, here's what you come up with for short ways to create a pattern. Or you might come up and say, how the best way to come up with logos for your business, a logo style or a logo idea. You want to choose 3 concepts, but this is how you choose a graphic designer to help create your stamp in the world. You'll need to do these 3 things to choose a graphic designer. So you can do really short video blogs that don't require you sitting down writing anything. You might say, here are 3 things that I would do. And this from clients that have come to you, and you already have the experience, because you can brand with experience. You already have had those experiences, and you know where people's trouble spots are. So you can just do a video blog on that. And if you want to move into the area creating of cooking, you can do a Google Hangout and say, hey, join me on Google Hangout, and we're going to cook some healthy food together. So you might say, healthy food for the everyday, person who wants to create their own healthy meals or design their own healthy meals. So you can just do a Google Hangout. It's live. People can join you. You send an announcement out to your email address book, and then it's being recorded live in YouTube. So as soon as you finish that Google Hangout, the video is already available on YouTube. It'll send you a message. And then what you can do is now share that link out with your network. Hey, you missed the Google Hangout. We were cooking tonight, creative vegan dishes. And then you send that out to your network, and now people start coming to you and looking at you as an authority in that particular area. So there are lots of creative ways to do it that would be fun, that doesn't feel like, oh, I don't sit down and blog, and I don't have time to think about that and the structure. And just make it fun and creative and live in that brand that you are creative.
This is all really helpful because I feel like I have all these things
You do.
I love to do.
You do.
And I know they all come together.
Right.
I mean, people that follow me on Instagram follow me for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
And you can, all of these things you can link together on my Pinterest page, and it's under Coach Venice is my Pinterest page. I have a video board. So everything's repurposed.
Yeah.
So the videos are shared in Facebook, they're shared on Twitter, they're also shared on my Pinterest, and they're on my website. So you can create one, and then you can repurpose it in different areas. But just have fun. Don't be polished. Don't be perfection. We talked about the perfection thing, right? Don't get in perfection. People want the authentic you. So.
Oh, by the way, just from my point of view, perfection, what it does from the mind is it keeps energy safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when
I
you
agree.
get into your mind and have to get perfect, what you're doing is neutralizing your energy, and you're going into your survivor mind.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
big.
Feels like it too.
Yeah.
big.
It's really true.
Because I want to, there's an amazing book that just came out called The Confidence Code, and it's really talking about women specifically, not men, women specifically, and how we are killing our spirit and our ability to really advance because of our need to be perfect. You are not alone. To over prepare, okay, and to undercut ourselves to the point where, I'll give you 2 examples from the book. One, where this young woman who was at Stanford in the computer science department, obviously not a huge amount of other women in that department, midway through the course, as the course got harder, she's looking at all the guys who seem to be dealing with it just fine, and she's thinking to herself, I'm in the wrong program. I don't have what it takes. This isn't right. Maybe I'll leave it. She stayed through, thank goodness. She graduated with the highest grade they've ever had. She is, at 29, she was appointed to the board of Starbucks, and she has her own high-tech company. But she's the example that stayed in the program. There are so many women that when that happens in whatever they're in, they take the next stage down. And we do this continually. And what we do also is, and Sheryl Sandberg talks about this in Lean In, You know, all it takes for a guy is that if he fits 4 out of the 10 criteria for a promotion, he's like, I'm in. I'm applying for it. If the woman doesn't fit 100%, she won't apply for it. How do you think that start measuring out? It comes into my area. Fact is, at 65, women are looking at $250,000 less in benefits for our future because of, one, how we deal with our money. We don't negotiate for salary, etc. Or if we negotiate, we consistently negotiate for 30% less. And then because we are the carers, we take flex time to take care of our children, to take care of the sick, to take care of our parents. And because we earn 77 cents on the dollar now, 59 cents when I was in college, then you multiply all of that. And not my statistics, it's like the Department of Labor and Commerce. We are starting out at 65 at $250,000 less than the average man, which is at 65 now, $250,000 could do a lot for me. Okay, but it's all these incremental things. So really, imperfect action is what you want to think of. Imperfect action. Be a decision maker. Make the decision, make the mistake, and you'll be fine. Make another mistake. Just keep doing it.
I wanted to say real quickly, so to some of you, it might sound like a lot, and you're like, well, how do I fit all this in and still make money, right? So Venice mentioned repurposing. So let's say you do have a blog. You write that blog, you post it on your website. Then you take a snippet of that blog, you post it on your Facebook page. Then you take a picture, the picture maybe that you had for the blog, or a picture that makes you think about your blog, and you post that on Pinterest or Instagram. So you can take that one action, that one piece of media, and repurpose it for each of your social media sites. So now you're not spending a whole lot of time, and you're not recreating all this content. From one thing, you were able to populate 4 to 5 other different areas if you choose to be on that many different sites. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming. That's a big thing that I teach, is how can you be efficient and get the word out and attract new clients without taking up all of your time, so you have no time to actually do your business. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming. One action could, be purposed, and that could be your whole week, right? Hema.
Well, I just wanted to add to what Jen was saying, that there was a recent bill, I think, put in the Senate. I don't remember exactly all the details, but for equal pay for women, and it was voted down.
Yeah.
So I think that should infuriate everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was infuriated when I heard that, and it's still a man's world in some ways, but we can make the difference there. And just wanted to add to Jen's comments. That's why it's so compelling for us to be who we are, and the more that people see that, the more men see that, the world sees that, and we can make the change that we can.
Yeah, I mean, the Dalai Lama is the one that said that the Western woman is going to lead the way for peace. But if we can't take care of ourselves into our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, when we have this kind of time and wisdom as well, but we don't have the money, and we've undercut our own power and our own voice. I'm all for all the things that are out there that have undercut us. And truly, I grew up in the age where we played basketball on a half court and could only dribble 3 times, and then you had to pass because girls didn't play on full court. So, that was the world I grew up in. But because we grow up in this culture, it is very hard you have to recognize we've absorbed it as well. So we have such tremendous ways and such insidious ways of undercutting ourselves. And as women, because we want to be compassionate, we sometimes support one another in undercutting ourselves. We say, yes, it's hard. Yes, you are getting older. Yes, all of this. Instead of saying, I see you as this powerful being that can do this. And I'm holding you to that vision because I know you can do that. I know your life is hard, but I also know you've got the lemons. It's time to make that lemonade stand work. So when we're in these groups like this and we've gone through these experiences, one of the ways to continue is to stay connected and to stay connected to the women that will hold you to that vision. Because each and every one of you, no matter how magnificent we are, and I'm looking at all the women here, I know that each and every one of us can even do more. Not more work, be more, because we are. And some of us have those tools, so.
That's great.
Okay.
We have 10 minutes left for the whole thing.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, we have Frances is gonna talk.
All right. There you go, Frances.
Uh-oh,
Welcome.
I'm on the wrong side of the camera.
And don't put the mic too close to you.
I kept hitting it with my boobs.
Here's the way to hold it.
I ate up the little thing that
We all need we all need a lesson in mic control.
It's just been so inspiring listening to everybody. I just want to tell a story. It was in 1972, and I went to, I believe that's the right year, the first International Women's Day, big celebration in the Armory in San Francisco. Hundreds of women. I'd never even been in a room with just women. And I'm trained as an investigative journalist and as a painter. Sitting in the room, and suddenly this entire video crew moved into the room and was filming the musicians. I can't even, you'd recognize the names of these famous women who sang and played and spoke. And my jaw dropped. And I went, oh my God, that whole crew is women. I had never seen a woman behind a video camera. It was the first video camera that was made in the field that was economic enough to use. And the rest is history. So I've been experimenting with video, and one of the things that I love about video and that I help people do to promote themselves is particularly wonderful for women because video is very intimate. The camera doesn't lie. You don't need to project. It'll catch your essence. And as my colleague, Marcia Kimmel, and I work together, be sure you pick up one of the brochures. We're going to be doing this workshop. Promote your vision and boost your income, presenting yourself on video in the Let It Shine workshop. We do lots of workshops together. We do workshops on our own. Marcia Kimmel is a famous in San Francisco theater director with The Next Stage. And if you pick this up, you can read about us. I don't have to go on and on. I just want to say that just dovetailing on this, the theme of just so being in our essence and so being in this subtle, heart-based space is something that Marcia and I lead people to. And we can lead men there, and we can lead women to just be themselves, so that even if, Marcia taught me this one, this was the story I was going to tell. I've watched her teach so many acting classes and presentation classes, and she says, and if this is the only thing you go home with today for your future speaking, that if you are at home in yourself and you're clear of your purpose and you're following all the marvelous wisdom that the panel has given us today, and particularly Gloria Brown, then you could get up in front of everybody and go, information, and they would go, man, where can I get to work with this person? So I just wanted to, that's my one little tip, presentation tip. So we're going to be having a nearly freebie. We haven't decided, the workshop is bigger, but we'll let you guys know what we're up to, and it's just been a complete honor being here and participating with what you're doing here. It's like together we are creating world peace.
Thank you.
So thanks.
Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much, and right now, you can work with all of these ladies in any capacity that you choose to. So you've heard all of us speak today. You know what you need, you know what you want, you know what you desire. I know you want us all, but what I've learned to do, thanks to Farida, is to prioritize. You can't be everywhere all the time, doing everything, in everybody's room, buying everything that everybody is selling that you're not going to use. So you prioritize. What's the best use of your time, and how do you maximize your opportunities to make money the way you love to, without literally having to sit and watch 3,000 emails and nobody says they love you. They don't. You know, how do you brand yourself? How do you go out and sell with integrity and in your own feminine space? How do you just share the information that, you know, we're living longer and we have to be prepared for that, because we can still walk, we can still talk, we still have our right minds, we're still beautiful, we're still full of ideas and inspiration. How do we do that? So in looking at what they have, and I think they all have something at the table, then make a value judgment that will take you to the next level. What I've done is I worked with many coaches for a long time, and I stopped. I have one coach, and that's Katarina Randall, and I work very closely with Katarina. And that's because when I began to work with her, doors literally started to open for me. And not only did doors open for me, new ideas came. And I was able to just literally, my income was tripled, because what I had been doing was okay, but I wasn't significantly uncomfortable. I was a lazy entrepreneur. And I keep saying that over and over again, because I didn't look for clients, because they came to me, and then my clients would refer other people. So why would I go looking for people? But yes, you do have to do the work. You have to get on the phone. You have to share with people what you do. There's a whole world out there that's suffering because we're not telling them or sharing with them what it is that we do. So yes, we do have to do that. So if you're investing, make sure you're investing so that you can get a return on your investment. Because like I say, I've spent a lot of money with coaches, and I've left money on the table, because I how can I deal with a coach that doesn't know as much as I do, and they will take a check. Well, maybe they do know more than I do, because they get the check. But just keep that in mind. It's a lot of great information here, and prioritize as it relates to what you do in your business. Okay, thank you. And so everyone share what they have in the back, and I'll share what I have. We have another drawer.